Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Matt and John Make a Podcast. This is episode 13. We just keep on rolling through these episodes. Today, we got a lot to talk about. Variety of topics. We have the LeBron James tweeting fiasco, if you want to call it that, that's been going on about the Houston Rockets GM in China. Got some Marvel news and opinions we want to talk about. We got to cover the MLB playoffs. We got the Nationals and the Cardinals, and the Astros are up 2-1 over the Yankees. And
rest in peace, my fantasy football team. Of Patrick Mahomes.
Breaking news. If this is on a Thursday, Patrick Mahomes is apparently hurt, or he is hurt. He's out for the game.
Out for the game. My God.
The Madden curse lives.
Yeah, I hate everything right now.
You should have paid attention to that. But regardless, other baseball news. We had a new manager over in LA. We'll get into that. And of course, wrestling news. We got to talk about some AEW and some WWE news and NFL thoughts from this past week. But let's get into the main topic, the big thing that's happening here. It's not MLB, it's not NFL, it's the NBA. And LeBron James tweeting that he's defending China and condemning the Houston Rockets GM tweets about freeing Hong Kong. John, what do you think of LeBron James right now?
I think he comes off incredibly tone deaf here.
Yes.
I mean, like, I didn't think that we would be honestly talking about this for a second week in a row. But the NBA has gained some really bad PR from this whole thing. Just, they come off extremely hypocritical, especially when, I mean, like, you go from like Steve Kerr to like Kevin Durant and like LeBron, who were so quick to defend the NBA and criticize Donald Trump, but when it comes to, as we said last week with the bottom line, and they are defending China for protesters who are trying to fight for their actual freedom, for like freedom of speech, etc. Everything that we have, thankfully, that we have over here in the States. And just, it goes back to the point, like, if you're going to make yourself look this bad, you're just better off just saying no comment. And I feel like he should have just said no comment here, because he just comes off incredibly ignorant and just incredibly uneducated, and, to be perfectly honest, incredibly cruel to look. I mean, how many people are like who are suffering and are like miserable over there in China with the current government there? So
right.
It's I mean, there's no, in my opinion, there's really no defending this. I mean, like but again, it comes back down to the bottom dollar, and the NBA has a lot, and LeBron James himself has a lot of invested business over there in China. So it's pretty obvious to me.
Look, I guess money controls everything.
Absolutely.
It's a shame that he had to say what he said. I mean, better to not say anything at all than say stuff that would cause controversy. I kind of lost a little bit of respect for him for doing that. He just comes off just bad. No way that does this make him look good. The NBA is just image is tarnished as of now.
And man, like, I mean, the NFL has like they have kind of shown like how you don't attack issues and stuff when it comes to the whole thing with the national anthem and everything. And now like the NBA, I mean, like it's just, and now they, and their owners and stuff, like, and the players more specifically, it just like, I just cannot believe that they're that their morals are just in my opinion in the complete wrong place. Like, I have not seen one NBA player come out and defend Daryl Morey. Maybe I have missed that, but up until this point, I have not seen that player. Like, it just, like, I mean, I really don't have much else to say about this other than, like, everyone should be bashing LeBron here. Like, there is really no way that you can defend this. Like, this is like ignorant, tone deaf, any which word that you describe it as. It's just it's a terrible look for the NBA. It's a terrible look for the players, and it just goes to show you it's a business, and it goes to show you how far deep in China's pockets that they really are there.
Mm-hmm. And it's not affecting just the NBA. Last week I was talking about, I did the video game side of the story, and the company Blizzard, if you're a Nintendo Switch owner, finally after a long time, the online game Overwatch came to the system. I think it went on sale Wednesday, but hardly any promotion from Nintendo. They're not having anything to do with them. Blizzard was supposed to have a launch party at the Nintendo store in New York. That got canceled last minute. So, like, Nintendo's sour on Blizzard, who has ties with China. And Nintendo is headquartered in Japan. For those wondering, if you didn't know. So, like, companies that are dealing with China and, like, defending China, if you will, people are just not having it. It's something to see. So, besides the NBA and LeBron James, you have other companies that are getting affected too. So, I'm not to bring politics up here, but remember when Trump was all going off against China and all this? In a way, he's right, because look what's happening. It's all anti-China stuff now, and Hong Kong and what have you. It's eye-opening, but not surprising.
No, I mean, like, I mean, just look at all of the current business with them. I mean, like, and I'm just talking strictly about sports. I'm not really knowledgeable about anything else in the financial field, or in just, with like products and stuff. I'm just talking about, like, strictly with the NBA, and like how invested and how much money that they got. I mean, when, like, Yao Ming got drafted by the Houston Rockets, that's essentially when the foot got in the door for basketball into China, and it's just exploded ever since then. So yeah, I mean, it's pretty crazy, but Matt, do you got any more to add about the?
No, it's just disappointing in LeBron James.
Yep. Yeah, especially for a guy who's so careful how he portrays himself with his image and stuff. Like, this was by far the last I would have expected from him, for sure.
Bless you. Moving on, let's get into some what do we have here? Marvel news. There is going to be a sequel to Deadpool 2.
Yep.
And it's confirmed to be rated R. Yay.
Thankfully, I was honestly really worried about this. I was not sure that they were going to keep it at rated R, because to me, in my opinion, having Deadpool not be rated R, I think is doing the show and the franchise, or what the character itself, a really unfair justice. I mean, like, we have seen how great Ryan Reynolds is in that role, and now he's in the hands of Kevin Feige and Marvel. They are no longer with Fox, so there's only potential to be absolute magic here. And I would imagine that he's going to be involved with Spider-Man in some form or capacity. So I'm pretty excited for that there alone. So, and just like there was no more perfect casting for that Deadpool character than Ryan Reynolds. I mean, it was a match made in heaven. Just his with his ego, just how he delivers, how everything that is portrayed from that Deadpool character is
perfect.
It's perfect. I don't know who else could honestly do a better job as Wade Wilson. So I mean, yeah. So I'm glad that they're keeping it at its origins and not trying to water it down, because it stands out from everything else that they do with those Marvel films there.
Yeah, they're so good, so funny. Like, there's so much liberty they have with those movies, and it's a good time. That's all you can ask for. It's a good comedy movie with some good action. It's going to be interesting to see if they integrate Deadpool into the MCU more than just the standalone
I would
X-Men universe, if you will. I would assume so, because they have X-Men now.
Yeah.
And Fantastic Four.
Yeah. Deadpool, I think, would probably be more involved with Spider-Man, just based. I mean, like, that's who he's been
right.
more so involved with, has been with Spider-Man and the X-Men. There's also all kinds of like rumors that like Marvel is trying desperately to get like Hugh Jackman back, which I pray that they can somehow convince him to do a few more.
A lot of zeros.
Oh yeah, I mean he would make a ton from that, but I think too, from his perspective, he had done that character for so long, and I really can't honestly blame him for saying enough. Like, he did that character for what, a good 15 years, give or take. Like, it's
seen forever.
Yeah, exactly. And so I mean, I don't blame him, but I'm hoping that they can do that character more of its justice, because honestly, with a lot of those X-Men films, like, there were some really good ones, but man, like, I will never forgive like that third movie in the first trilogy of like Dark Phoenix, and that whole thing just left such a sour taste in my mouth, and I've never really have forgotten about that. And speaking of like of like Dark Phoenix 2, like that completely bombed at the box office, which I wasn't really surprised, just because based on the early reviews, they were not good. And that was, quite frankly, a like microcosm of the whole X-Men franchise with Fox. It was just a pretty disappointing, and what was, and too, like, that was such a really good cast on top of that, and it just did not deliver. A shame, honestly. So, but yeah. So that was that. Also, there's also been some talk of, you've seen like people like Scarlett Johansson bring this up. Brie Larson also bring this up. What do you think about the possibility of having a like all women Avengers film, Matthew?
I'm thinking. I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to it. You have enough. I think you can do it. I think you have enough strong characters that, and
Scarlet, like between like Scarlet,
Captain Marvel,
who's
just OP.
Shuri from Black Panther.
Jesus. Who was with
Gamora? You can
Gamora,
include her.
Oh my God. Who was in the relationship with Vision? I'm drawing a blank.
Scarlet Witch. Yep. Those four right there. You can honestly,
you can bring other people in. You can even bring some of the other guy characters in too as supplement, but the main focus be.
I mean,
like,
I wouldn't see why not. I mean, like,
if the movie's good, what the hell difference does it make?
Yeah, I just but you're already seeing on the internet, like, people are like really, do we really need one here? I was like, I mean, like,
that's just being sexist.
Yeah, like, I'm like,
that's just being sexist.
Oh, absolutely. I'm just like, if
what happens if I know you joke about the Ghostbusters movie, but what happens if that was good?
Yeah, right.
What happens if it was a good? What happens if it was a good movie?
Yeah, exactly. And and the bigger difference with this one is it's a much better cast with the characters who have been like built up and have been through so many films that it'll work. Like, it's, you
can assume the writing is going to be good.
Well, yeah, it's as long as Kevin Feige is in charge, they'll be fine.
And he just got promoted to
in
charge of the Marvel.
He's in charge of everything now.
Boom.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm perfectly fine with it. I mean, like,
they have, we would see it because it's Marvel. It's a superhero movie.
Well, and two, with the whole Disney Plus app and everything, I could honestly see them doing that as a series as well. Like, there's, like, I think
almost a month away from that.
Yeah,
I can't wait.
Yeah, did you pre-order that already?
I don't know, but if not, I'm doing it now.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did a month or so ago, but
I can't remember.
Yeah, but yeah, because I think that comes out actually on November 12th.
Yes,
I'm correct.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. That's a Sunday. No. That's a Tuesday.
Excuse me, but
it's a Tuesday.
Yep.
It's a Tuesday. And I only remember that.
There goes our lives.
Yeah, and I only remember that because on the 11th I have off because of Veterans Day from work on that week. But all right, so yeah, that was our thoughts on that. Okay, so let's get into some baseball talk. So currently, Matt, you saw the score there. What's the score
as of now in Game 4? It is 3-1 Houston, I believe, going to the bottom of the 4th.
Yeah.
We have a commercial break here. Okay. Oh, it's back.
Yeah, so I absolutely believe that if Houston wins this game, series is essentially over. Especially too when when Garrett Cole hits the pitch again. Yeah.
Is he pitching Game 5?
No, I believe
I couldn't see
Verlander. Verlander would probably pitch Game 5.
They had the graphic up, but you were in the way, so I couldn't see. But if the score holds now, 3-1, bottom of the fourth, I think the series is Houston's to lose. Could I see it going 6? Possibly. I don't see it going 7.
I just don't think that they can hit off of Garrett Cole. Like,
I'm thinking of Verlander. He's the next man in line.
Yeah, like
if he's on, it's over.
Yeah, I mean, like I feel I give them a better shot against both Verlander and Zach Greinke, but against Cole, who's been by far the most dominant pitcher in baseball. He's going to be a very rich man come this offseason. Actually, I believe that I saw a quote from like John Heyman of CBS, I believe is where he works at. But basically he said that Garrett Cole could be signing a deal worth like 7 years, $245 million, give or take. I mean, honestly, it wouldn't shock me if he got up where around like $300 million. I mean, like he's been that dominant, and he deserves every single penny of that contract. So I mean, like there's still some time yet for the Yankees, but definitely they need to win this game if they want any shot in getting into the World Series. And this is what I said from the get-go. It's like with Houston, their starting pitching is just going to be too much for the Yankees to overcome, especially if like Houston is hitting, which they are. So I mean, like they're a very tough team. But man, what I did not expect though was the Washington Nationals swept the Cardinals, and like it wasn't even a
historically bad hitting from the Cardinals.
That might have been one of the more lopsided NLCS series that I can quite honestly recall. I mean, like it just like when they scored 7 runs in the first inning in Game 4, I was like, "Wow, really?" And I shut off after that. I wake up the like following morning, and it was 7-4. So St. Louis tried to make a comeback, but man, that was shocking, because I thought that St. Louis, riding a lot of momentum from the Game 5 win over Atlanta. I thought that they had a really good shot, but now the Washington Nationals are now in the World Series.
First time
for the first time in
dating back to the Expos.
And how do you think that Bryce Harper feels right now?
That's hilarious.
Like literally the year that he leaves, and two with the Nationals, I believe they were like what? It was like 14 games under 500,
something stupid.
In like May, and I saw a stat where like they had a 0.1% chance in winning the National League pennant, which that has to be like one of the biggest comebacks in baseball. I mean, has to be, just because like it's like even back in May, like when you dig yourself in a hole that big, 15 games under 500, typically you're pretty like dead at that point. But man, that team persevered. They got in as a wild card, beat a very good Dodger team, who I feel like really underachieved. But hey,
every year.
But Washington beat them, and they just beat the brakes off of St. Louis.
I'm looking up an article from the USA Today. In 4 games, they only had just 16 hits at 123 at bats.
Wow.
That's a 130 average. They never led at any point.
And
like,
how many runs did they actually score in that whole entire series, by the way?
I gotta look that up. Hang on.
I don't think that it
Hang
was
on.
many. So
No. Hang on. Hang on.
because I want to say that Game 4 was probably the most runs that they probably scored.
Let's see here. Game 1, 0.
Mm-hmm.
Game 2, 1.
Oof.
Game 3, 1.
Oh my god.
Game 4, 4.
Wow.
So 6.
Wow.
6 runs.
6 runs in.
Oh wait. Yeah. Wait a minute. Wait. Yep. 4. Yeah, I was looking at Game 4 of the Braves series, but that was the same runs. Yeah. 6.
Wow. That's
The Cardinals pixie dust is no more.
yeah. They used it all up in the NLDS, but
If you would have told me the Nationals would have been in the World Series,
no,
I would have
no one saw that coming.
I would have laughed in your face.
Right, exactly.
There's somebody that probably bet that the Nationals would go to the World Series.
They are probably a very, very rich person right now, especially too if you bet that back.
You gotta look what the odds were
back in like May when they were that far back, but also we also had some other baseball news. Joe Madden, the former manager of the Chicago Cubs and of the Tampa Bay Rays, is now was hired to become the new Los Angeles Angels manager. He takes over for, I believe, what Brad Ausmus was the manager, I believe, there. So yeah, I'm not really surprised that he was able to find a job relatively quickly. I mean, I think I read somewhere that he had interest from them. San Diego, I believe, was also interested. I believe also that the Mets and maybe the Phillies were also interested, but I could be wrong. But no, nothing really surprising here. I mean, like, hopefully, for the Angels, hope that he helps them get over the hump. They have the absolute best player in baseball, and like Mike Trout, and they're not really winning. I mean, they're a pretty average team right now. Although, I mean, like, I would take average right now over what the Pirates are right now. But that withstanding, yeah. So Matt, any thoughts on Joe Madden becoming the new manager for the Los Angeles Angels?
As a Pirates fan, I'm glad I don't have to see him.
Yes, I can attest to that.
But yeah, I'm not surprised. You got a team that fast. We'll see what happens. Maybe the Angels will actually do something. They got one of the best players in the history of the game, but you never hear anything. At least I don't, because the Angels never do anything.
Nope. He's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Everything he has finished, I believe, in like top 4 in the AL MVP voting. I think every single season that he's been in the league. I mean, which is insane to think about, but he is that good. He is that transcendent of a player, and two, on top of that, they just signed Mike Trout to the richest athlete contract in professional sports history. I think he signed a 13-year, $430 million contract with the Angels, which
I'll look that up.
I mean, and he deserves every single penny. And to you didn't see one person say no, he doesn't deserve that. Like it was universal that everyone said he deserves every single penny of that. And two, if for the Angels and Major League Baseball, there is no better ambassador for the game than Mike Trout. He doesn't get into in trouble. You never hear about him being a bad teammate. He plays hard. He works hard. Like he's a very good person that you would want to represent your franchise.
12-year, $426.5 million.
Okay, yeah, that's what.
And a $20 million signing bonus.
Yeah, so that's.
He'll be at the end of his contract.
He'll be on 38, right? Or
30. It's the payroll salary is 37.1. Pretty much from 2021 on to 2030, and at 2031 he's an unrestricted free agent, but he'll be 39.
I would imagine he'll probably
retire.
He'll probably retire before that. I
hope so. Look at all
I
the
would
money.
be shocked. I mean, like you just don't see too many guys playing into their upper 30s too often. I mean, it was way more common when we were kids with Barry Bonds and all of those guys, but like it's a like young man's game now, man. It's being proven, I think, more and more now. You know,
it's estimated from his start of his career back in 2009, all the money he's got, he has earned $117,356,792 so far, and then with that, is projected he's going to earn $507.8 million over 10, 21 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because
if you don't spend it all, you're good.
Yeah, with baseball, they're guaranteed contracts, so he's going to see every single cent of that deal there. So
and
for the guy there,
he's only been hurt twice.
Well, yeah, which is also great about him. He's an extremely durable guy.
And it was 2018, 2017, 62 days missed, and I like this cash paid while you're injured, $7.692 million. That's funny. But yeah, he is one of the best players that's ever come out, and but what do they do?
Yeah, that's true.
It'd be nice if he was number 27 overall in 2009.
Yep.
How did he go all that low?
That's going to be.
Imagine if the Pirates signed him. Where would he be now?
Yeah, I don't even want to think about it. It's just going to make me sad. So moving on now. We're going to talk a little bit about the NFL here. Just some like general thoughts. We're through week 6 now, heading into week 7. I'll first touch on the Steelers' huge win. And it was nice for the NFL for them to give the Steelers a like extra home game. It was very kind of them, Matt. But
yes.
But I mean, we know that with the Chargers, like they have a terrible fan base in LA. But my Lord, like there had to have been at least 20,000 Steeler fans there. Like
it was pretty much like 80%.
And
it seemed like,
yeah, honestly,
it
might have been 90. Like
probably
it
close.
Would not shock me, but like I mean, like I knew it was bad when they were when the broadcast started and the Chargers were coming out and all you heard was a booze. I was like, oh god.
And defense cheers.
Like it's bad when TJ Watt is like firing up the crowd on the road.
Yeah, third down, raising your hands.
It was, and what was even most funny about that is going into the fourth quarter, for whatever reason, the idiots running that stadium decided to play Renegade.
No, they trolled. They did a Rickroll. They played it, and then they did genius. I applaud them for that.
I mean, like, I guess, but like, there were so many Chargers fans extremely pissed about that. So, and they're like, why? Like, even if they were even with just doing a like troll job there, like, why would you want to why would you want to get that fan base or that defense even more fired up there? So it was bad. But to the actual game itself, the Steelers finally have a top 5 defense. Of course, it comes in the year that we don't have
a top 5 offense.
Yeah, or that we don't have our franchise quarterback, and it just like.
But we got the duck.
But we had the duck, although although it was reported, I believe, yesterday that Mason Rudolph has cleared concussion protocol, and he's going to be starting as he should. So he'll be back, and this season isn't over yet, man. I mean, I'm not sure if any of you have noticed, but the AFC North is really bad. Cleveland is barely hanging on right now, and
same record as us.
Yep, and
everybody's in it except Bengals.
Yep. And Baltimore has a really hard schedule coming up. They are in Seattle this week, which that's going to be a very tough game for them. And I still believe that they have to face the likes of Houston, the Patriots. I think they have to face them still. So
and the Steelers have an easier schedule.
Yeah, they
record wise.
Yeah, I believe that really their only true hard game left is probably against the Rams.
Probably.
Yeah. And obviously we still have the 2 games against Cleveland and in the game at Baltimore, but this team could very well win 8 or 9 games, and man,
contend for a division.
And the contend for a division. If this team somehow wins the AFC North, Coach Tomlin definitely deserves coach. It should be in consideration for
NFL
absolutely.
Coach. Should he win it? Who knows?
But
he should have votes
for how many injuries and losing your franchise quarterback in the second week of
and just starting off terribly.
Exactly, and now this team now has playmakers at every single level of the defense now. Devin Bush is probably going to win defensive rookie of the year at this rate.
He's in contention.
He's definitely in contention.
He won defensive player of the week.
Yeah, he scored off a fumble recovery, and
interception.
He also had another interception. The guy is just a playmaker, man. As Brian Poldinger of the NFL Network called him, he's a cobra, and I was like, I love that nickname. He's the Cobra, and he brings something that this defense has not had since we lost Ryan Shazier. He brings speed, intensity. He can thump guys, and not to mention his energy is just infectious. He's flying everywhere on the field, and it's just so awesome to watch. And man, TJ Watt it's
getting better and better.
He's becoming one of the more dominant outside pass rushers. Him and his brother now, I believe, are actually tied for quarterback hits. I could be wrong about that, but that's pretty impressive to me. TJ is just, he's for one thing, he always plays hard. Every single down, he treats it like it's his absolute last. Just plays extremely hard. Is just constantly getting after the quarterback. The Chargers could not block him. They tried throwing 2 guys at him. He was still getting to Phillip Rivers. That tackle was just having a long day. But I mean, I think that that the key for this team is can they get enough points? Because I feel like if you can score around 18 to 24 points, I give them a pretty good chance to win every single game, and that's going to be the thing about this season. Like, they're going to be in every single game just because of their defense alone, and I believe too that the Steelers are like second in forcing turnovers behind the Patriots right now. So, like, they are taking the ball away. It's just going to be key that they try and get some points off of those turnovers. But yeah, as you can see, I'm pretty excited about the Steelers right now. How about you, Matt?
There's optimism. The defense, as the season went on, is just getting better and better. I think they're gelling.
Yep.
I think they got the right playmakers. I think the acquisition, like we talked about, Fitzpatrick, helped.
And too, like,
it's like a glue.
And too, I think Steelers fans need to understand. Like, I've seen a few tweets about this. I'm like, and they're like, why isn't he getting so many tackles? I'm like, guys, don't you realize that is a like actual good thing that he's not getting tackles? That because that tells you not too many big plays are happening, which I don't think that has been a like mistake there. But I will say though, injuries on that defense are concerning me, which is why I'm glad that they had their bye week this week, especially since they lost Stephon Tuitt, who was having by far his best season. So that was a pretty big loss there. But Hayden was banged up. Steven Nelson he missed the Chargers game. T.J. Watt has been nicked up a bit too, and same thing with Deb and Bush. So that bye week definitely comes at the correct time. But I mean, and we kind of talked about the AFC North. Like, how bad are the Cleveland Browns looking right now? Like, man, I mean, like, I kind of called this, before the season started. And when everyone was crowning them as being Super Bowl contenders and everything, I was like, I don't know what you guys are seeing, but that offensive line is still terrible. It's a first-year head coach, second-year quarterback who hasn't proven a thing, and we're kind of seeing now how he's handling success or handling failure. Honestly, I mean, like, how many post-game blow-ups? How many times is he gonna fault the referees? That team was up 20-6, I believe, in the third quarter, and they
20-6.
They were up 20-6, and Baker threw 3 more picks. It's just, I mean, could you imagine if this was Ben who said this? Like, they would be crucifying him in the media. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, like, it's just pretty obvious they are a very young and a very immature team who doesn't know how to really handle this. Whereas with the Steelers, they have so many guys. They have so many veteran guys and coaches who have been through it all. Like, they're not really overreacting week to week. And you were clearly seeing that. Tomlin is not overreacting. Like, he's not making these insane quotes like Freddie Kitchens is, or like Baker Mayfield is. Like, they're just staying the course, and that's what you need to do. Like, you cannot overreact week to week. Like, and it just goes back to that experience factor. And now they're also on a bye week, and they have to go up to New England.
Mm-hmm.
Which that's gonna be,
and then after the bye week, Steelers have Miami.
Right, exactly. So
already 16.5-point favorites,
and by then, like, because if Baltimore loses to Seattle, I mean, like, and the Steelers win, they're right there. I mean, like, this there's
Steelers would be 3-4. Baltimore would be 4-3. That's
Right.
one game.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And as I said, Baltimore, they still have to face
They got the Seahawks.
San
and then
Francisco.
Here's in the order.
Okay.
The Seahawks, Patriots. So that's 2 challenges right there.
Yep.
And if Steelers, like, in 2 weeks, and well, not in 2 weeks, but 2 games played.
Well, and especially too how we saw them against the Steelers.
And we probably should have.
That defense was giving them a lot of problems. Like they had a very hard time moving the ball, especially in the second half against them. So like that game is no gimme for them.
They have the Bengals, which they should win.
Yeah.
Then
Bengals are terrible.
Texans,
Tough game.
Rams.
Still a tough game, although I do feel with Baltimore they can probably handle them.
49ers.
Yeah, that's gonna be a really tough game.
Bills.
Not a very easy game. Buffalo's defense is really good, so that'll be interesting.
It should be a win. The Jets.
With Sam Darnold, that could be interesting.
Mm.
So we'll see. We'll see how.
And then
how
they finish out with the Browns.
Yeah, and division game. That's a toss up. So there's definitely some challenging games. Whereas with the Steelers, like they have
we got
Miami, New York,
Indy. We got Miami, Indy.
Yep.
Rams.
Yep.
Browns. Bengals.
Yep.
Browns. Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
Buffalo. Jets. Ravens.
Yeah, I mean, like just with that, I think that the Steelers have more winnable games, but at the same time too,
anything can happen.
Anything can happen.
Wide open.
Yep. So that's gonna be very interesting. Some other things. Dallas Cowboys continue to struggle. They lost a really bad game in the Meadowlands against the Jets. Well, it's pretty clear with the Cowboys that injuries, especially on that offensive line, are really hurting them, and also that defense is nowhere near as good as they were last year. They're having a really hard time forcing turnovers and getting any sort of consistent pressure on the quarterback. And Dak has been pretty inconsistent too. Not to mention Zeke has also been really inconsistent. The Cowboys look like a very average, a very mediocre team who's also really banged up right now.
They really had an easy start to the schedule. They played the Giants, the Redskins, and the Dolphins.
Yep.
Okay, you're 3-0. Then they played the Saints, lost a close one. Played Green Bay, lost by 10. Somehow lost to the Jets.
Yeah, that's.
And then they have the Eagles. That's going to be a game.
I have Philadelphia winning that game there.
You get the Giants, okay. The Vikings, the Lions, the Patriots, the Bills, the Bears, the Rams, the Eagles, and with the Redskins.
They might win at most maybe 7 games. And I might be kind saying that there, but they desperately need to get healthy, just especially on that offensive line. They cannot run the ball right now, and that's been one of their biggest issues right now.
The Eagles don't, who they're tied with, don't have the easy schedule too.
Not to mention that secondary of Philadelphia is horrible.
They play the Cowboys, and they play the Bills, then the Bears, then the Patriots. It seems like the Patriots are playing everybody we talk about. Seahawks, the Dolphins should be easy. Then the Giants, Redskins, then back to the Cowboys and the Giants again. But at the end, it's somewhat easier.
That division, the division winner might win only 9 games there. It's very possible, but we'll see. other things, the Los Angeles Rams made a very high-profile trade. They acquired Jalen Ramsey from the Jacksonville Jaguars for 2 first-round picks. That would be the 2020 and 2021 first-round pick. This deal, well, before this, for them to even make this trade, they had to ship out Marcus Peters, who got traded to the Baltimore Ravens for a backup linebacker, and I believe that they also got a future pick as well in that deal. But I mean, I don't think that this really changes anything for the Rams, just because that offensive line of theirs is still horrible. They really don't have any running game right now. I mean, and Jared Goff is really struggling right now. He's been nowhere near as good as he was last year. So, I mean, it definitely shores up their secondary a bit, but I don't think that this is going to really move the actual needle with them. And on top of that, you lose two first round picks. And on top of that, he's entering the final year of his contract, so you're going to have to pay him like as the most richest corner in defensive backs history there. So, and you add his contract with the likes of Jared Goff, who just got paid, Aaron Donald, who just got paid. They also paid Brandon Cooks not too long ago as well. So it's going to be a very top-heavy salary cap for the Rams. So, that's pretty much the position that they put themselves in. I mean, don't get me wrong, Jalen is a great player, but they had to pay a lot to get him, and they're going to have to pay even more to keep him past the season. So, anything to add there, Matt?
Yeah, to me, no, he's a good player, but I feel like that's a steep price to pay. He's with them next year.
Oh, okay.
He's a UFA in 2021.
Okay, so
it's not as bad.
Okay, so they probably did his 5th year option for next year. Okay, but all right. So then a few other things. Patriots and the 49ers are the two remaining undefeated teams.
San Francisco is surprising, but
yeah, that defensive line is usually the best defensive line in football. I mean, hell, we saw that when the Steelers went down there, and how they just beat the tar out of Cleveland. I mean, they're going to cause a lot of teams a lot of problems, especially in that division there. Arizona, Seattle, and the LA Rams offensive lines are all pretty bad. So when you have Bosa, D Ford, and Buckner, and Armstead, and all these guys, they're going to cause so much problems just because they cannot block these guys. I personally feel that as long as Jimmy G doesn't lose them games, they probably are going to win this division here. The only team who I can see that can probably unseat San Francisco is probably Seattle. And we saw what the 49ers did against the Rams, so they're already down a game against them, and now they are 3-3 right now. So technically, the 49ers are up 3 games on them. So I mean, they have a long hole to dig themselves out of. And the Patriots are the Patriots, and with Patrick Mahomes possibly gone for the season, if he's done for the season, the Patriots will have no obstacles to get back into the Super Bowl, in my opinion. I think that probably the only other team who will probably challenge them maybe Houston. It's just the AFC is just so weak, man. there's really no good teams where you compare it to the NFC, where you have the Saints and the 49ers and Seattle, Carolina, and it's just like there are so many good teams in that conference, and you look at the AFC, it's just there's a lot of average teams. Also, doesn't help with the Steelers that they lost their franchise quarterback, because I definitely believe that if we had a healthy Ben, we would definitely win the AFC North easily, would probably be a 2 seed right now in the AFC. So that's pretty frustrating right now. But so is the NFL, and the Dolphins remain the lone defeated team in the.
No, you got Cincinnati.
Oh, I completely forgot about Cincinnati.
Everybody does.
Yeah, my apologies. Cincinnati and Miami remain the defeated teams. And yeah, and eventually Cincinnati has to face. Oh God, we might have two toilet bowls this year. That should be fun.
Yep.
Okay. All right, Matt. I think it's time to get into some pro wrestling talk here. Do you want to talk a little bit about the ratings with here?
Absolutely. So, week 3 of the non-existent Wednesday Night Wars, because no, it's not a war, but even though it is. Don't let anybody tell you it's not. So, AEW this previous week last week had a 1,018,000 viewers, and 0.46 18 to 49 demo. Now this week it has dropped slightly to 1,014,000 viewers, a loss of 4,000.
It's a million 14,000. Yeah, 14,000 viewers.
And then now the demo is 0.44.
Right.
Down 0.02 of a percent.
Yeah.
NXT last week was 790,000. Yeah. This week is dropped to 714,000, and dropped 0.02 of a percent on the 18 to 49 demo, with 0.20 down from 0.22 last week. So
yeah, if
both shows have dropped, and AEW is pretty much held steady, which is normal, or just above 1 million. But NXT has dropped, I guess, I don't want to say significantly, but it doesn't look good.
Yeah, like
if it drops below 700,000,
which I think that it will
next week.
I mean, if you aren't concerned about NXT, then like you should definitely be panicking right now, because I mean like USA has to be looking at this, and they're like, guys, what are you doing? Like, they were in week 1, I think they did 1.2 million viewers, if I'm correct, for week 1. They're now have dropped almost half their audience now. It's just like
about, I don't know about half, but at least 25%.
Yeah, but at least a quarter of their audience. And this has been a complete disaster for them going up against AEW, which everyone called this year, because I mean, like, in this all goes back to, like, was it really worth it to potentially kill all buzz with NXT just to try and stick it to AEW? And as we are seeing, the fans are choosing AEW over NXT, and that is not going to change. I mean, like, even with the NBA coming next week, I don't think it's going to really change.
And I don't think there was no MLB playoffs.
Nope.
This week
There was zero competition this week, which I'm not sure if that's more concerning for NXT or AEW there, because on top of that, there was also 2 title defenses with Chris Jericho and with the Women's Championship, and that didn't do as well as I hoped that it would do. I was hoping that it would honestly increase a little bit, but they lost not too many viewers. And same thing with NXT. But the problem with NXT is it keeps on declining every single week. And
well, to be fair, both of them are declining every week, but
it just seems
it seems like AEW's plateauing.
Well, and to
around that 1 million, and NXT's losing more than AEW.
And we also need to keep in mind too, AEW is still a really new company, and for them to be even doing this well, it is impressive. NXT, on the other hand, has been around for what, 3 or 4 years now, and this is the best that they can do right now. It's just, I mean, like, at one point, are you with like USA? Do you ask them to possibly move to another night, maybe on a Tuesday or on a Thursday night? It's just like because the problem with NXT and AEW is it's the same exact audience that you're going after, and we're seeing, as I said, you know, those fans are going to choose AEW over it.
They want to see the new fresh meat, if you will.
Right.
Take a terrible saying.
Mm.
It's I don't think, if you're the executives in WWE, I don't think you want to change now, because I guess the optics look bad.
They do, because I mean, like,
4 weeks, like, nope.
Well, and it's like I said, you know, AEW is wrestling in front of like mostly sold out arenas, while NXT is wrestling in front of like 400 people. It's just like, just from a visual standpoint, as I've been saying, it just looks real. It just looks real low budget now, and you know, and just like, they're going to need to do something eventually. I do think that at some point they are going to go on the road. I don't think that's going to really change anything as far as the ratings go up against AEW. But I mean, like, just from an optics standpoint, that's got to change. But for AEW, the show itself, in my opinion,
I'm sorry, Matt. You're gonna do a lot of the talking here, because while I was watching the Pittsburgh Penguin game, that was a good hockey game against the Avalanche, and that had my attention, because that was on too, and it went to overtime. So I was kind of going in and out.
Honestly, for this week, I don't really blame you, because
if the game was not on, my attention would be on AEW, but it was a good game, and a close game that I wanted to see. I want to see how we would do against somebody who's 5-0.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I will say though that this was probably AEW's weakest show, and it goes back to some of the gripes that I've been having with their TV. It's far too much wrestling. It's far too much wrestling. This show desperately needs more interviews. They need more video packages. They need more promos. And I mean, like, I will say this: that Cody video package was excellently done. Was excellent. There needs to be more of that. For example, we had a women's championship match that got no build whatsoever. We had no reason why these two were facing each other, and how Britt Baker actually got a title shot. I mean, like there was literally no story going into that match whatsoever.
Yeah, I wasn't. Again, I was into the hockey game,
and that could have really used a interview, a video package. At least give it something. At least give it some sort of a story. Like it just, and that was pretty consistent all night. It was just like match, and that was it. And that really irritated me. But probably the thing that irritated me the most easily though was the semi or was a quarterfinal tag team match between Jungle Boy and Marco Stunt versus the Lucha Brothers.
I'm curious to see if we complain about the same thing.
Yes, that match was complete and utter bullshit. To the freaking T. It's like no one should be selling for Marco Stunt.
Thank you.
And
thank you.
For anyone who is trying to compare this to Rey Mysterio, please kiss my ass. First of all, there's almost a half a foot difference between the two, and one guy looks like a professional wrestler. The other guy looks like a freaking fan. He
looks like a kid who got into the ring.
Exactly.
Like I can buy, was it Jungle Express? What's the team name?
Jurassic Express.
Whatever the hell. Same difference.
I'm like a Luchasaurus and like Jungle Boy 5.
If I can buy that team, to me that's maybe a wrong comparison, but the first thing that came to my head is a Big Cass and Enzo. You got the small guy and then the big guy who does the power stuff.
Exactly.
But you have Marco Stunt, who looks like I crap turds bigger than him.
Well, and the thing is too, like
you can't buy it serious that the freaking Pentagon Junior and who's the other guy?
And Phoenix.
Phoenix, that's right. I knew it started with a P. Or like getting like her Karanas and like DDTs from this little From this little guy, it's not believable.
I was going full Jim Cornette last night.
I am desperately waiting. I love hearing his
he tweeted about it about last night. It was hilarious.
Because I listened to his clips on YouTube about AEW and stuff, and some of those are good, especially when he talks about Kenny Omega and calls him Kenny Olivier.
Oh, he hates Kenny Omega.
That's hilarious. I love watching him. It's great. Listening to him is hilarious.
But it's
he has some good points, some valid points, and some points I disagree with. But he's gonna tear this up. I love it.
Well, and what irritates me is that there's so many people defending this. I'm like,
no.
I mean, like people are like trying to make the comparisons with like Ray, and they're like, well, like back in the day, like Ray was treated as the same thing. I was like, first of all, Ray is so much bigger than Marco Stunt. Second of all, Ray was an actual star. I mean, he was the cornerstone for the cruiserweights in WCW. Like between him, Eddie, and Jericho, and all of those guys. So it really annoys me that we're trying to make this comparison. It just. Oh my!
He looks. Yeah, I don't buy him.
But that thing irritated me the most. But thankfully, Pentagon and Phoenix won.
If Jungle Boy would have won, I would have been like, oh god.
But they will be facing Private Party next week in Pittsburgh, and holy hell, that's going to be a barn burner, Mr. Man. So we got that set up. And as far as the women's match is concerned, as I said, I had zero interest in this match whatsoever. This AEW's women's division desperately needs something. Like, I don't know who any of these women are outside of like Britt Baker. The only thing I know about her is that she's a freaking dentist.
And she's from Pittsburgh.
Like, that's all that I know. I have no idea who the hell Riho is. I have no idea who like Awesome Kong or Nyla Rose, recently. I don't know who any of these women are.
Seen,
AEW has done a horrible job in presenting these women and actually telling us fans like who these people are and why should we care. Like, especially when you're introducing them to a whole new audience that no one has seen.
They're lucky. The only I don't say the only thing they have going for them, but the guys made their names at other places, and they're popular with the indie fans. So when they came in, everybody knows who they are.
And like
with the women, the ones they have shown us, with a few exceptions, at least on the TV show, I honestly have never heard.
Yeah, I mean, in the only two
and the
people,
ones we know have not been on the show.
Like, I mean, I knew Awesome Kong from TNA and obviously her short stint in WWE, but and Britt Baker from ROH and also to Matt, and I saw her a few times at a local indie show here, but yeah, like it's just they need to do a much better job, and quite frankly, they need to sign some better women because there are women out there. Eve Felice, why they have not signed her is beyond me. Why they have not signed a Tennille Dashwood is beyond me. Although I believe she's only working for Impact through Bound for Glory, so I believe she might be free after that there. So I mean, like they just need to do a better job in making us care about this division, because just like talking, comparing them to like Impact, NXT, WWE, like AEW, outside of probably Ring of Honor right now, has easily the worst women's division in all of professional wrestling right now. So they need to get that thing going. But other stuff that happened on the show, we had SCU beat Best Friends. There was also a pre-match attack where Pentagon and Phoenix took out Christopher Daniels. This eventually led to Scorpio Sky and Frankie Kazarian tagging, and eventually they got the win over Best Friends. I'm a little bit surprised that they're going with the heel route with Pentagon and Phoenix. I personally feel that they should have put SCU as the heels just because they could talk better. But
then later in the night, everybody was cheering and doing the whatever.
Exactly. Like,
didn't match.
You're not gonna have those guys getting booed there. Like good luck. Like I've watched so many shows with those guys, whether it was like Lucha Underground, Impact, All In, All Out, whatever show, they were getting babyface reactions. There's a better chance in SCU getting heel heat just because of Christopher Daniels and Frankie Kazarian and Scorpio Sky are really good talkers. I mean Pentagon and Phoenix just aren't gonna be talking too much, and they are cool and they're badasses. Like, that's gonna be very hard to do. But as I said, SCU, they won. They will be facing Dark Order next week, also in Pittsburgh, in the semifinals. So yeah, that should be interesting.
Houston just hit a 3-1 home run,
and that probably does it for the Yankees there.
6-1.
So yeah, we also had a tag team match between Kenny Omega and Hangman Page.
I honestly barely saw any of those too. I wanted to, but
yeah. This was pretty fun, a pretty good match against Pac and Jon Moxley. Basically, what happened here is like Moxley and Omega got their barbed wire gimmicks here, which eventually Pac didn't take too kindly with because he didn't want to get disqualified and lose the undefeated mark. But this eventually led.
I saw that.
Yeah, this eventually led to with Jon Moxley flipping off Pac and giving him his the DDT, and this eventually led to both Kenny and Hangman getting the win for the team.
I did see the end. I like that little storytelling there.
And they also announced for next week Jon Moxley versus Pac in Pittsburgh. So I mean, like three really fun matches right there, Matt. I'm pretty excited for that. And also they announced that the Young Bucks would also be in action next week. So yeah, I'm very interested to see how this is going to come off there. It's going to be our first AEW live experience. It's going to be my first time seeing guys like Kenny Omega live. I'm very interested to see how that's going to be.
We saw him before though.
No, we've never been to an actual event with him on the card, because we were hoping that he was going to be on the MSG card, but by then AEW was already.
He wasn't on any of the RH.
No, he was more exclusive with.
I can't remember.
Yeah, he was more exclusive.
I swear we've seen it before.
No, the one show that he was on for our ROH, sadly we did not actually go to.
I probably had conflicts.
Yeah. But yeah. So that's gonna be fun. I'm also going to be interested to see how many tickets are going to be actually sold for this. Yeah, I mean, I just hope that it's not too empty. I
don't think it's gonna be empty.
I'm hoping that's not. Maybe you can look that up there on the app there, Matt. But yeah. So and then getting into the main event, which was for the AEW World Title between Chris Jericho versus Darby Allin in a Philly street fight. This was okay. I never really got super into this match. There wasn't really any drama, or
I was barely in this match.
Yeah, like
I was hogging. Nothing on their fault.
No,
I was interested in something else.
And
so
I never really believed that Darby Allin was ever going to win this match at any point. So it served its purpose. I hated the finish. Why did Chris Jericho need like Jake Hager to do a distraction and hit Darby Allin and to get the win? So I wasn't really crazy about that, but it wasn't a very strong show from AEW this week. But that's going to happen from time to time. I'm still super excited about the show next week. Oh wow, like that's okay. Yeah, they'll be fine.
Yeah, it's not that bad.
No, I mean, like that looks like what, about 200 seats maybe not filled.
Oh, I don't know about that. It could
Give or
be
take.
more.
Give or take.
1, 2,
400, 500. I mean, something like that. But I mean, I just hope that arena is mostly full, which I'm figured that it probably will be. I'm going to be very interested to see how it's going to be walking them through campus there, because all of those students are like, why are all these weird people here? But
yeah.
So I'm very interested to see how the reaction is going to come off that. And you know what? It looks like a pretty fun show next week. What do you think, Matt?
Yeah, I'm just interested to see how it just comes off, how the presentation, how being there. It's something new. I'm just interested to see what happens. It wasn't $50.
Yeah, I mean, like I was still shocked at how easily that we got tickets, just because at that point with like how everyone had such a hard time getting tickets in both in Philadelphia and with Boston. Like, I just heard horror stories, and I had friends who also went to the Chicago shows and to the Vegas show.
Yeah. To be fair, it's different monsters in those cities.
Absolutely, but still, at the time, AEW was in an extremely hot ticket. So, I mean, like, so you really could blame us for being super nervous.
Right.
So, but yeah, we got tickets, and it should be a pretty fun time next week. But moving on now. I didn't really watch NXT this weekend.
I didn't watch it at all. I had no time this week. It's a busy week.
I just looked at the results. I mean, like, there was some build up that happened. I'm not exactly sure what they're doing with, like, Shayna Baszler. Like, she's like feuding with like 3 or 4 different people right now, which is kind of weird. So I'm guessing that we're probably getting some like multi-women's match at the next takeover. So maybe you figure her versus Rhea Ripley versus Io versus maybe Bianca or something like that. But I'm not exactly sure what's going on there. But and like Ciampa came back, I would assume that he's probably is going to be feuding with Adam Cole for the title at the next takeover. But we still have yet to figure out who is going to be facing the tag team champions. I would love to know when that's going to happen. But I believe for next week that Roderick Strong is defending his title against Velveteen Dream next weekend, or like next week. So yeah. But some small stories here. The reported set salary for Tyson Fury's match against Braun Strowman, according to DailyMail.com, which I believe is a affiliate out in the UK. Supposedly he is making $15 million.
Not surprised. Shocks me not in the least.
Nope. Saudi money, man. Saudi money. Getting the money to WWE to pay him. Not surprised.
That's about what I would think for that one-off.
Yeah, I mean, like, I can only imagine what a Kane is probably making too. Like, he's easily has to be making seven figures. Like, and I think you're going to be seeing more and more of this is combat athletes making that transition over to professional wrestling, which is why I think an AEW needs to be on the actual lookout for that, because they want to present more of a sport like presentation. I definitely feel that they need to, like, keep an eye out. I really wish that they would have been able to get Kane, but supposedly Kane, like, told them what WWE was offering, and basically AEW said no, we can't.
And that's why he's on SmackDown for Fox,
which tells me he's probably getting paid a lot of money. So Kane, for himself, he no longer has to fight again.
Like, he's legit fight and risk more injury, even though you can still get injured. But
no, I mean, like,
he's probably got just work one time a week.
Right. I mean, like, I would imagine he's probably is not going to be working any house shows, nor should he.
Unless a special one once in a while, but he probably has an easy schedule. He's making money. He's set. I mean, I don't blame him.
No, and I would not be surprised too if his teammate Daniel Cormier comes into the company as a, like, manager or as a commentator, because he probably DC probably has one more fight in him, and that's going to be against Stipe. So I would not be surprised if that eventually happens. But yeah, Tyson Fury is making bank. Also, a really big story this week. Eric Bischoff has been fired from his executive director role, and Bruce Pritchard has taken over the position. Yeah. So I'm hardly surprised by this at all. This man was on the job for not even half a year, 4 months, and supposedly, according to the Observer, he wasn't really involved at all. He never got, really involved with the talents. Supposedly a lot of people in that company didn't even like working with him. That was how bad that it was at one point. And supposedly some said he was really out of touch, which all of us could have told you that there. But yeah, hardly surprising. And yeah, I mean, there's not much else to say.
We'll see what happens with Brother Love running the show.
Yeah, I mean, like, to me, the executive director role was a bunch of like BS as was, just because it all depends on what the man up top thinks, and that's
God.
Yes, Vince. He is.
Well, I think with history, I think Bruce can get through the Vince better.
Yeah, but that withstanding,
let's see what happens.
But that withstanding, like, that sort of lies the actual problem too. Is like they're having a problem building a like younger audience, and their audience is getting older. I mean, it doesn't help when you have guys who are in charge, who are in their 50s, 60s, and 70s, writing and booking the shows. It's just, it kind of counterproductive there, but we'll see what happens. All right, so Matt, did you get to see any of the WWE backstage show?
I had a recording and I saw a little bit. I was actually Tuesday out at getting drinks after my one work thing downtown, and it was actually a Tequila Cowboy. But it was Tuesday. It was kind of dead, but we were in the karaoke side, and they had it on at the bar. And that's another good thing on Fox is that somehow I've seen it more on wrestling. They had the replay of SmackDown. I was watching the replay of SmackDown, and I saw it. I'd like, without any sound, I like the look. I really couldn't. I don't know what they were saying, so I don't know how it sounded like, but visually I liked it, and that's all I can say about it.
The one bright thing about this was that interview with Kane, which I encourage you to go see, Matt. I wish that they would have done this, and just had done a retape and showed this on SmackDown instead of just having him confront and have him confront Rock and Heyman. They actually realized this week, hey, Kane, he can't speak English, so like hopefully they keep it with that format. Like Kane, he didn't feel as awkward or as and it didn't feel as scripted here, which was good.
Well, they took Ray away from him in the draft, so
yeah, I really don't know how well that's going to go, just because they really need to give Kane a like mouthpiece. Like maybe what they do, they have Heyman turn on, maybe have Heyman turn on like Brock, and then he would go with Kane there. I mean, like, but I really don't think that you can have Kane talk on his own unless, hell, I mean, and I would be fine with this. You bring in DC as Kane's manager, which DC is a very good talker. I mean, if you see him on commentary for like UFC fights, or him in interviews or whatever, there's not too many more articulate people than Daniel Cormier. So, I mean, if they're not going to have him, if they're not going to have Ray with him, but then they really need to find someone else who could talk for him. So, But yeah, I didn't really watch any more of that show, but that was basically the gist of it. Oh, and they announced, and they really overhyped this stupid trade, this blockbuster trade that was supposed to happen. I was thinking, oh, it's going to include like maybe a Kane, a Seth Rollins, a Roman Reigns, something like that. No, Nikki Cross. Alexa Bliss were traded to SmackDown. That was the blockbuster trade.
I honestly missed it. I didn't hear anything about it.
Yeah, like I think it was on SmackDown, which you were working, but Jake Glazer of all people announced there will be a blockbuster deal according to sources. He was saying this on Fox, which is hilarious, but yeah, so they were hyping this up on between that and on Raw too. I think they might have mentioned that a few times, but yeah, that was a complete letdown there. So yeah, but moving on, Matt, do you have any thoughts with the draft itself? I personally felt that the draft in general was kind of underwhelming, that there wasn't as much excitement or energy like compared to the draft that they did in 2016, which I felt like that was more exciting. This just kind of fell on flat to me. What do you think?
Yeah, I see your point. I did like how they I like how they integrated that the USA and Fox thing, and it seemed the presentation, at least to me, seemed legit, like it actually mattered, and both shows were competing. But I do agree that it just seemed, okay, here's the picks, blah 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 blah.
Well, and two, a few things that did not make sense. Why were champions eligible in the draft here? Like, if you're champion, you should be exclusive to that specific brand. Like,
I think maybe besides the tag team,
yeah,
and the women's championships should be there.
Yeah, like
Universal and WWE, I think it's okay,
and
because they can go on either show.
Well, and a few other things that also did not make any sense to me. You had both like Seth and Brock as your champions. Why were they not first round picks?
See, okay, I didn't watch SmackDown because I was busy, and so I really didn't see anything. So when I was watching Monday Raw, and they picked Seth and Brock, I went, wait a minute, they didn't go?
No, it was Becky Lynch and Roman Reigns on SmackDown, first round picks. I'm like, okay, so we're not going to choose either the WWE champion or the Universal champion. How does that make any sense?
I mean, I don't know how Brock Lesnar's not number one.
Even better, on Raw, Jinder Mahal got picked before Rey Mysterio. Matt, when was the last time Jinder was on TV? Exactly. I'm just like, there were just so many logic gaps in this whole thing, and not to mention as well, it's just there were so many picks that were there wasn't really any like major movement, like I mean, like most other guys who were currently most of the guys and girls who are currently on the same brand, outside of a few people stuck on the same brand. Mm-hmm. So it's just like, I feel like that they really just did not think a lot of this through, which is not exactly surprising. And another thing that didn't really make any sense to me was the overreactions by the freaking war rooms. Like, when freaking Natty was picked for USA, they were acting like they got a freaking first round pick for her. I'm like, I'm like, okay, guys, like it's a good thing to be excited, but when you're acting like you're getting a cornerstone, like I'm like, okay. So, Matt, do you have anything more to add there?
I think the one thing or at least on Monday, I liked. I think the matches that they had, they were good matches. During the show, I thoroughly enjoyed most of them. Right now, I can't remember any of them because that's too long ago in my head. But I remember just being entertained on Monday with just the wrestling aspect. So that was good for me. But that's pretty much my thoughts on that.
Okay. Well, and the final thing that we're going to talk about, or maybe only me here, but
yeah, I was today years old when I saw this.
Okay, so in regards with John Jones, Matt, I'm not sure if you heard about this, but
I'm reading about it.
Yeah, but back in April, he got cited for a like incident at a strip club with a waitress, and he pleaded no contest to it. As now, this adds on to a laundry list of things in regards with John Jones. Like in the past, he had hit a pregnant woman with an SUV. I mean, like not as a pedestrian, but as a hit and run, which he somehow avoided jail time there. And going back to all of some steroid failed tests as well. This is really nothing new with John. Just like he lives a very, I'm not exactly sure how you would describe it. It's just like he can live really recklessly, very irresponsibly, and like he's a very polarizing figure. He quite frankly isn't a very well liked person. I mean, I know for a fact, like in just speaking with him, DC, like the tension is so bad with them that Daniel Cormier's wife won't even utter out his name. Like that's how personal that whole thing is, and she just said that he's a terrible person, and she ain't exactly wrong. But I would imagine hopefully that thing gets solved for him soon, and I think actually he's been having some like money issues as well, which probably explains why he's been wanting to be as active as possible fighting, because I believe he fought 3 or 4 times this year, which is easily the most fights that he's had in the last 3 or 4 years. So nothing much else to discuss here. Well, man, I think we're about at the end here, so would you like to add anything before we send it home here?
Just the usual: like, comment, subscribe. I hope you liked this episode. We'll be back next week with episode 14. See what happens in the news next week. We'll probably cover week 4 of AEW versus NXT. Look at the ratings and a review from in person, in attendance, for Dynamite. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yep.
It's a little late here. I gotta go and get ready for work.
Same here.
So with that, have a good one.